Hello, and thank you for joining us. My name is Sherelle Evans Latimer, CEO of ACE Publishing LLC, and this is B.W.P Books with Purpose Virtual Book Fair with Pamela Smalls Ball.
I'm good today. How are you?
I'm pretty awesome. The devil tried to stop some stuff, but we got it all working good now. Thank you for coming on and being with us today. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Pamela Ball, or Pamela Smalls Ball. I am originally also from the Low Country. I'm from St. Helena Island, South Carolina, which is in Beaufort County.
Okay.
And I moved up to Columbia to go to school, Gamecocks, and I've been here ever since. So happy to be here.
Awesome. Okay, so I have a couple questions for you before we get into your books. I'm super excited to get into these books too. How did you start? Explain Small Stories and how did you start your publishing?
Well, I love a good play on words. So since my last name was Smalls and I was writing books, I decided to name the company Small Stories.
Okay. Awesome. I love that. That is so cute. I seen your website too. You got a lot of different books on there. I'm like, okay, I'm about to have a lot to read. I'm praying I have time to read everything. Every time I say I'm going to sit down and read a good book, it's like, no, you got stuff to do. But it's okay. It's okay. I'm going to get to it one day. So, this book right here, Preparing Myself for My Future Husband.
Yes.
Okay, so this is pretty much something that every woman wants to do, but don't really go into detail about it. So tell us a little bit about the book and how you went into details about it and what scripture you used.
So this particular book I wrote because I divorced in 2014 and it's 2020 and I'm still single. So I started writing this one back in 2018 because in my mind, I had one of those light bulb moments like you see on cartoons where I'm just like, okay, I've been making my choices all these years. I've been choosing people who have necessarily not been for me, not been good for me, just bad decisions all the way around. So I figured, insanity is the definition of doing the same thing multiple times and expecting a different result. So in my mind, I said, let me try to do something a different way to see if I get a different result. So I know that in the Bible, I've known about the virtuous wife scriptures for years because I said that one year in memory of my grandmother at one of our family reunions. So I decided to make a study of the virtuous wife and all of the scriptures in there and try to pull out different characteristics in each scripture that I thought that she displayed, just to measure myself up against those traits to see if I'm meeting those traits or if I still have work to do.
Right. Okay, awesome sauce. So, okay. Tell me what in Proverbs 31, because I know that's what you based it out of. What is the scripture that stands out the most? I think mine is, you notice that she actually worked. She was a working mom, like a working wife. She didn't sit at home and collect checks. What is one that stood out to you? Because a lot of women think a wife is a stay-at-home wife, and this obviously we have more to do than that. So, which one stood out for you?
I liked verse 10, the very first one. Who can find a virtuous wife, for her worth is far more than rubies? Because out of that scripture, I pulled out that I should have value to myself. Okay. That particular chapter was kind of fun and interesting for me because I did more of like a metaphor, like a comparison of being a diamond versus being a ruby. And when we're out here in this world, everybody wants to have a diamond. Everybody wants to be a diamond. It's flashy. Society says it's valuable, but nobody's paying attention to the rubies, who are also extremely valuable, but more understated.
Right.
So ruby is also just as beautiful or even more beautiful than a diamond, but because it's not in your face, nobody's paying attention to it. And I liken myself to a ruby because I'm beautiful, I'm understated, I have a lot of great things going for me, and I value myself in that trait. And I think that trait kind of really taught me how to understand that scripture and taught me how to know that I need to have value to myself in order to prepare for my future husband.
Awesome. I'm loving it. Love. Okay. So, on to the word.
Yes.
Chronicles of a New Christian.
Yes.
So, I'm going to be honest with y'all. When I first started this Christian walk, I was like, Lord Jesus, y'all think I can do it. This ain't going to work. This is hard. But I kept going. And I'm not going to say that I'm perfect. I did have my slip-ups. I did make mistakes. But thank God that we have a forgiving God. And I can't imagine in my life now if I didn't have God in my life. Like, it would be really, really, yeah, we just ain't going to say it wouldn't be good. Okay? It wouldn't be good. So, explain Chronicles of a New Christian for me.
All right, so Christian is my baby of books. This is my very first book, and it was inspired because back in 2014, I just had a lot of different trials and tribulations going on in my life. And although I had been baptized for years, I was never in a place where I was worshiping or praising. I just I attended church because it was the expectation. My dad is a minister, and my mom had been saved for years. So when I started going through all the different things I went through, like eviction, harassment, being unemployed, underemployed, losing best friends, separation and divorce, the culmination of all of those things just led me back into my word where I needed to be from the get-go. And I learned how to praise and worship and not care about what people thought about me because I was now embracing God like I should be. Yeah. And that caused me to title myself a new Christian, because even though I'd been a Christian for years, I was newly back into my word and newly saved. So I call myself a new Christian. And I think, this book was really more of a ministry to different things that I've been going through or different problems I needed to tackle in life. And so I feel like as a new Christian, I could give advice or motivation to even people who have been in the word a long time that I would normally have turned to and asked for questions. That's the reason why I called it Chronicles of a New Christian.
Okay. I know some people, well, this is one of the things I struggled with when I became a Christian. You're not able to do things you used to do, so your friends are like, what is she doing? Why is she acting like that? She acting funny. And it's not that you acting funny, it's just that can't nobody else get you to heaven and get you in the presence of God but yourself. So when they started acting funny with me, I would just go in my room, read my Bible, and I would worship. And that was my party. Put it that way. That was my party. That was my way of, because I used to go to the club a lot. Back home in Muskegon, that's all you could do, really, is club and party. But this being new to me, I was at church every time they had service. And it's a wonderful experience. So I'm happy that you were able to get through all of those trials and tribulations and, stay with the Lord, because sometimes it can be hard and peer pressure is very serious.
Yes.
Okay, so your books are available on Amazon.
Yes, are available on Amazon. And I actually, too, with New Christian, you guys are looking at the new cover, but I actually still have some of the old cover when I was less well-versed in designing.
Okay.
So if anybody wants to grab the last 4, you can grab those for $5, but the books are originally $10 on Amazon. That's the best way to get it because, you know, inventory numbers are not where they should be at the house. But you can grab these for $5 by just going through my website, which is my Square. It's shopsmallstories.square.site. And you can order these with shipping and I'll get them shipped to you.
Okay.
Same beautiful content, just a different look on the cover.
Awesome. And I did post your information in the comments below the live Facebook, so you can click on Amazon, or you may inbox Miss Ball. I was going to call you Miss Kate. Miss Ball to get her information. Thank you so much.
Thank you.